This is A's Cast Live, your comprehensive look at the Oakland Athletics.
Rooker, it's a 5 on a deep center. Robert going back at the track. He will turn and watch it fly.
And 29 other MLB clubs.
Adolis Garcia sends on the other way. That sends Carroll back. He's at the Ronald Acuna, another milestone in a truly historic season.
Julio with an absolute nuke out to left field.
It's Glaber Day. And like a good Glaber, Torres is there.
Join us as we take you inside the baseball universe. From humidors to Stuff Plus to walk-off dingers, we have you covered. Spend your afternoon with us, only on A's Cast Live. Here's Chris Townsend.
Good afternoon, everybody. Cody, I can now say good afternoon. This is more like a regular season game.
I think this is the only afternoon game we have. I'd have to look ahead to the schedule. But
On A's Cast Live?
yeah, I think it's might be the only afternoon one we got.
Don't we have a
Besides the Bay Bridge games.
don't they televise one game every single year down in Arizona, NBC?
Yeah, it's next Friday, but it might be a 1 o'clock game still. Actually, I think it is a 1 o'clock game.
I'll be down next week on my birthday. The A's are going to be taking on the San Francisco Giants in the day, and then at night will be the spring breakout game. I'll be in Arizona on my birthday.
I have the roster up right there. People who didn't see it.
I'm going to be calling the game with Johnny. I'm excited. Our prospects against the Giants prospects. It's brilliant. There's a lot to talk about today. We got a ton to talk about, so it's going to be quick. All right. This is awesome because think about it. We talk so much about prospects. When is the only time we have all the prospects together?
Beginning of spring training
Spring
usually.
training,
Yeah.
right? You got everybody's there. You got everybody's there. Whether with your big camp or in the backfields, they're there. Now we're going to put them all together. AAA, AA, A-ball, young guys, older guys, all together. Our guys against the Giants guys. And you got all these different matchups in the Grapefruit League and the Cactus League. Going to be fun. I am really looking forward to it. Watching our young guys take on, or the future A's taking on the future Giants from Hohokam. Johnny Dosco and I will have that call for you. I think it's like at 4 o'clock after the Giants and the A's play your regular spring training game. There'll be a double dipper right here on A's Cast. We got a little double dip on A's Cast on the 15th.
Yeah, well, I think we'll still be on in the morning prior to our game. So, I don't think this might be our only afternoon night game that we have because we're playing the big league weekend series in Vegas this weekend. So, makes sense why we're playing at night tonight.
Okay, and then
The Bay Bridge games, obviously.
The day after my birthday is when the great Johnny Dosco can pay up his steak dinner that he owes me down in the Valley of the Sun.
Well, what happened on this one?
I can't tell you what the bet was. I can just say Johnny's like that little puppy. He was so excited. He's got his new job with the A's, and he's so excited. He came down to the A's Cast booth. He made a statement, and you always know how I work. Someone makes a very outlandish, crazy statement. Me, whenever Towny's little bookie shop feels like gambling, I always play the numbers. I play the percentages. See, certain people have opinions and beliefs, but those opinions and beliefs are not based off percentages. So I always say, well, I don't really agree with that. I'll bet you that doesn't happen. And we don't bet money. I'll bet you a steak dinner. Johnny jumped on that. And by the way, I had it by almost the All-Star break. Johnny was a little hot and heavy on last year's team. Johnny thought last year's team was going to be pretty good. You and I knew we're selling it, but it's not going to be very good.
I mean, Johnny also thought the White Sox were going to the World Series, so whatever, Cardinals, whoever it was.
Johnny really thought last year's A's team was going to be good. We're like, you sure about that, bro?
Hey, in his defense, first year, trying to endear himself to the fans.
You're excited. That's why I gave him the option. I'm like, I'll bet you steak dinner on that. You sure on that? He jumped on it, and so that will be paid off. By the way, biggest news of the day. And there's a lot of big baseball news today. A bombshell article on The Athletic about pitchers' health. I mean, wow. Backs up I'm just going to say on a lot of what we've been talking about for years. It is scary. I don't know if we're going to have enough time to do it. We might have to dedicate Monday to it. Everybody, if you subscribe to The Athletic, go read it. A lot is based on the doctor, the arm guru who works with the Texas Rangers. He is the guy that's developed the surgery. It's the new style Tommy John with the bracket. How I'm not an orthopedic surgeon. It's the recent Tommy John that essentially Shohei Ohtani had. He did the procedure on Shohei Ohtani, and it's the one Brock Purdy had with
Correct.
the Sam. He developed it. This guy, and we're starting to treat pitchers, and they're starting to look like running backs. And he's very concerned for the game, as I have been for years. I don't want to start the show with that. I'm just saying, bombshell article, read it, and I went, I've been saying this. I said to Cody, I've been saying this since we started A's Cast. This is not sustainable. There's a problem. We do not have enough arms. These guys are getting hurt. Now they want to, it's not the pitch clock. It has nothing to do with the pitch clock. They're trying to say the pitch clock. They break it down, and let's face it, we had the pitching ninja on. We have Eno Saris, who contributed to this article. We have him on. When there's a Stuff Plus and the ninja, they talk about that kind of stress that you're putting on your arm with velocity and velocity with braking stuff. It wears your arm out. And Tommy John used to be like a one-time thing. Like, you get Tommy John, you got a new arm. And this surgeon's like, the amount of procedures we're doing on people of all ages is sad. So we're not going to have time to get into it. I want everybody, your project, your homework project over the weekend is to go read this article in The Athletic. It tells you a lot about how these analytics people that we're hiring, they have no idea about the human body. They know what they want the human body to do, but they don't know what it does to the human body. Then you have the biomechanics people coming in going, well, of course, look what you're doing to the human body. It can't sustain it. But then we have these people who are biomechanics people, like the driveline people. I know there's a throw lab south of us in Morgan Hill. Well, they do everything they can to get you to throw harder, spin it faster, and do all that stuff. That's great, but the arm can't sustain it. Well, they're paid not to protect your arm. They're paid to make you more electric. So all of these people are factoring in the problem. And we've got so consumed with guys not being pitchers, but being throwers and striking out people, it's come to roost. And guys are getting hurt for years now at a record number. And finally, a big-time physician is stepping up going, it's got to stop. We'll talk about that later. But the one thing I want to start today's show with, I'm fired up. Can you please bring up today's box score? The A's have already played a game, by the way. We got a game in Vegas coming up, but we've got a game that happened earlier today down in the Valley of the Sun.
Hold on. Sometimes MLB.com goes slow. But yes, we played earlier in Arizona against Milwaukee.
Oh, Cam, go up a little bit. You missed it.
That's right here.
Oh, it's right there. Oh, no, we played in Peoria?
Yeah, we played in Peoria.
Oh, that's
today.
right. They share with the Padres, right?
Yes. Where do the Mariners play?
Oh, no, the Mariners share with the Padres in Peoria. I was actually watching that last night. I was watching talk about I Gotta Get a Life. Last night, late, I was watching Mariners Angels. Miguel Sano, Know Your Angels.
I forgot he's an Angel.
Remember, he didn't play last year.
No.
Did it try out? No one could sign him? Yeah, he's playing with the Angels. We will bust out. I forgot we had it, but we do have Bernie Brewer for the set today.
I wish we had the whole body. We can push him down a slide.
Oh, my God, the great Bernie Brewer. Jeff Levering, play-by-play from Sacramento, now does play-by-play for the Brew Crew. Vince Cotroneo will join us. We'll play Know Your Brewers. And who else do we have?
Fran Riordan.
Oh, my God, the leader of men. It's his home.
His Bills made a lot of moves this offseason already, cutting guys and getting under the cap. They're trying to get under the cap.
Hey, Summerlin in Vegas. You know what Summerlin is to me? The house that Fran built.
I mean, he's done a nice job so far with the Aviators for us. So
we'll get into Know Your Brewers with Vince Cotroneo. And by the way, a lot of crossover between the Brew Crew and the A's. There's a lot. There's a lot of history between these two organizations. Remember, for you youngins, the Brewers used to be in the American League, right? I mean, you got Raleigh Fingers won a Cy Young and an MVP there. Sal Bando was the GM. I mean, there's a lot of history between the A's and the Brew Crew. Chris Davis, one of our greatest power hitters in franchise's history, 3 straight years of 40 home runs, including leading the league in home runs with 40. Was it 48 when he led the league?
Everyone's favorite name to say, John Jaha.
Roy Steele, John Jaha. Dave Parker would go on after A's winning a World Series with the A's. He'd go on to play with the Brew Crew.
Phil Garner, great Brewers manager.
Bob Melvin got his start under Scrap Iron.
Mark Kotze.
And because Sal Bando had such a great relationship, Bob Melvin got his coaching start in Milwaukee. What else?
Kotze. Played for both. There's a trivia question. Hopefully,
how long did Kotze play for the Brewers?
He played in the postseason with the Brewers.
How long did Kotze play? Ken Maka managed both teams.
I can't confirm nor deny that there's a trivia question about Ken Maka on Know Your Brewers.
As Ken Korak would do the impression, Pittsburgh.
He was a Brewer for a whole one season and 104 games.
104 games. So a lot to get into there. But can you please bring up the box score? If you're watching this or you're going to be watching this later, there's one thing today
I got it right
in
here.
our world that matters, in our franchise's world that matters. I want you to look at that box score. I don't care what happens in Vegas. I haven't even seen the lineup in Vegas. One thing has happened today that should make everybody go, I am super, super excited. And I am not overselling this.
You're asking me? JJ Bleday's 3 hits.
What is he doing right now?
Hitting.
What's the average?
409.
What's the OPS?
1,207.
I told you when that trade was made, we always talk about how the A's haven't had a position player, a high drafted position player. The A's haven't had that in forever. The swap for AJ Puck. You didn't like it. I loved it.
I will admit I did not like it at
You
first.
did not like it. AJ Puck. I'm like, AJ Puck is damaged goods. No offense. Like AJ as a guy. AJ is going to be a career bullpen guy and will probably float around the league, and then he'll be out. You traded a injured starter, now turned reliever, for a player that was viewed as the best player or at least top 3 in the entire draft. I have no idea what the Marlins were thinking. No idea. First time I saw JJ Bleday play at an inside the park home run. Johnny, I was standing next to Johnny. Johnny's doing the play-by-play. Whack! He rips one to center, hits off the wall, comes back and flies around the bases. And I'm like one of those scouts in Moneyball. When he hits the ball, it pops. It's all over the ballpark.
Sorry, we have so many of those drops that I just have to.
Remember the old scouts? We're not selling jeans. Well, I was selling.
He throws the club head at the ball, and when he connects, he drives it. It pops off the bat. You can hear it all over the ballpark.
That's JJ Bleday.
5 all-time. Good-looking ball player.
Good looking. He's good looking. He's a good looking ball player. He looks good. He looks great in the uniform. He's a handsome young man. He's got it all.
Why do you like him?
Because he gets on base.
We don't know that yet.
Whoa, 1,200 OPS in spring.
Give me that pops around the ballpark again. That's the best.
Okay, hold on.
What is he? Come on.
He throws the club head at the ball, and when he connects, he drives it. It pops off the bat. You can hear it all over the ballpark.
You can hear it all over the ballpark. JJ Bleday is a legit specimen of a baseball player.
The ball explodes off his bat.
That the A's have not had since who? Chapman was a top pick. Olsen was a top pick. Cespedes would have been a top pick if he grew up in this country. But this is the kind of guy you got. He's got power. He can run. He can throw. He can do it all. I think he's more talented from that standpoint than Chapman. And Matt Olson is first baseman. It's bombs, right? And played unbelievable defense. Chapman, third baseman, who we thought would hit bombs, strikes out a lot and every once in a while runs into one, but plays phenomenal defense. J.J. Bleday is a great athlete. He's got size. He's got speed. He's got the best arm. I mean, I've been texting with certain people, oh, he could be the fifth outfielder. And I go, man, you don't know what you're watching. Like, people don't know what they're watching. First time I saw him, I went, this guy can be the dude.
And the only reason he went fourth in that draft that he got drafted in 2019, the guys that drafted ahead of him, Adley Rutschman, pretty good player.
All right.
Bobby Wood Jr., pretty good player
but
so far.
Adley Rutschman, you're taking, you could have gone Bleday or Rutschman.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't need, some people wouldn't take a catcher first overall.
Bobby Witt and then Andrew Vaughn from Cal, who was a really good hitter in college. He's been okay with the White Sox.
Yeah.
He'd
be a perfect A.
Yeah, he's been more productive than Bleday because he's had more chances.
Bleday got a little into uppercut. That's what he told us.
Launch, yeah, a little bit.
And with the Marlins, and now he's been working ever since and said, aha, worked on it this offseason. I'm feeling good. You could have a monster. And then all of a sudden you go, oh, yeah, let's not forget Zach Geloff. Now you got two, super talented guys. I've been excited about J.J. Bleday since the day, and every single time, he has a bad gun, I'm like, but I believe in it. I'll go with it. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But I thought it was a great trade. I'm like, what do you have to lose? What are you losing giving up what was Puck, the 6th pick in the draft?
Somewhere around there, yeah. I think that sounds right.
All right, so you're giving that up for the guy who was considered one of the best athletes in the draft? I mean, come on, man. If J.J. Bleday can be that guy, all of a sudden...
You're right, yes, it was 6th.
He was 6th?
Correct.
Yeah, he was like a 6 and a 4. They're right around each other, whatever it is. I mean, you're 6th, you're 4th, whatever. You're a top 10 pick. I mean, all of a sudden, you add that with Geloff, and if Ruiz can keep stealing bases, I mean, you start to have a story here, right? You start to have a lineup. J.J. Bleday has the ability to be, and man, I know someone's going to take if this doesn't work out, someone's going to take this and they're going to put it out there and be like, oh, yeah, this is what he had to say. But I'm going to say it anyway.
So should I mark the tape as I
mark the tape? J.J. Bleday has the ability to be an all-star. Not many guys have that ability. Guys have ability to be productive. But when I mean an all-star, I'm not meaning, hey, any people can make the all-star game. Brent Rooker made the all-star game. When you talk about guys who are like, when the league looks at you and they go, all-star player, J.J. Bleday has that kind of talent. We're talking about tools, man. Can throw, can run, has power. If he puts it together, you've got another primetime player. How many teams have 2 primetime players? Does everybody have that? I don't think so.
Only a couple I can think off the top of my head.
And these guys are young. Bleday's not that. What's Bleday's still like 25?
Yeah, I think
he's coming into his own. But Geloff and Bleday, they're both college guys. This is the time when you put it together and you put up some numbers.
26.
It's 26. This is it. And if you go, it's just spring training, and I'll go, okay, well, just tell me what it is for Jordan Diaz then.
Did you see him in the box score today?
No, but I saw Bleday 3 hits, and I went, this is what I'm talking about. This is what excites me.
Jordan Diaz 0 for 4 is now down to .95 batting average.
I remember Melissa Lockhart, love her to death from The Athletic. She was on this show, and she was blowing him up, and I was in. But now I'm like, how many at-bats are you going to give this guy who can't play defense and can't run? And by the way, we've kind of legislated him out of the game in a bit because we've gotten rid of shifting. And that's really hurt non-athletic infielders, right? Justin Turner and Seager are not great defensively. Now, Seager's a World Series MVP again.
Yeah, he's having a nice little career.
Yeah, he's got a nice contract. He's not, but what the Dodgers did with shifting, they shifted everybody over. So basically, Turner and Seager on the left side for the Dodgers they didn't have to man a lot. And that was a strength of the A's when you had Chapman and Simeon, is your left side was super athletic. The left side for the Dodgers was all offense and not super athletic. Well, they hid that with big-time shifting. Well, now that you can't big-time shift, where we're talking about the second baseman is now on the other side of the bag. He's playing more than up the middle. He's like a shortstop plus. I mean, you've got that whole left side. It's like a blanket. It's like a wall. Can't do that anymore. And now you got to play more in space in the infield. And someone like Jordan Diaz clearly can't play second base. And I can't really, I mean, third base. So when you say he's got that hit tool, well, that hit tool means he has to hit. If you don't have defense, you've got to hit. And when I mean hit, I mean you got to be a real productive player. And unfortunately for him, he's hitting .095 right now. Is that what you said?
Yeah. Sorry, my computer can't move it back to that page. But yeah, he was 0 for 4 today. He's at .95.
I mean, he's toast. He has options though, right?
One option left.
I hope. Yeah, he's toast. He is not. There is no possible way Jordan Diaz is making the big club now.
No, probably most likely starting AAA with Fran and the Aviators.
And maybe I'll bring something up with Fran. You know, that's a good question for Fran is, what do you do with a guy that had expectations and doesn't have a good spring, and he comes to you at AAA? Fran's job has got to build him back up. Fran's job, I got to get this guy back to believing who we believe he can be, right?
Yeah.
The Jordan Diaz hit 3 home runs at Yankee Stadium. Can we get him to be that? And for everybody else, right? Because I'm sure there's going to be certain players. By the way, Henry Bolte played today. I saw that too.
I can't move I have to grab my mouse. For some reason, my trackpad on my computer isn't working. So good thing I bring my mouse with me all the time.
Is Henry Bolte on the roster for the spring breakout?
I'd have to look. I have the roster on there. I have to look.
If anybody has been watching this program for a while now, when we talk prospects, I love me some Henry Bolte, who did really well in Stockton this year. He's another. Come on, outfield. Man, why is it just out? Oh, wait, got to go to outfielders here.
Hold on here. Let me pull it up. Henry Bolte is on the team. Yes, he's right there. It's him, David. The outfielders are him, Davidson, Colby Thomas, and one other player.
Davidson?
Yeah.
Logan Davidson?
Yeah, 26.
Shortstop out of Clemson is an outfielder?
That's what they have him listed at on here. So we moved him to the outfield now?
Henry Bolte is big. I mean, he's big. He's built. He's tall. He doesn't look like a baseball player. And he's got it all. You know, this is going to be kind of a fun time coming up here. We start talking about Denzel Clark, Lawrence Butler. These guys are younger. You know, as I've told you, I'm excited about Bleday. Never lost my excitement for Ruiz. Noda's not young, but yeah, Noda,
2 hits
Geloff. But I'm looking at these young. I mean, Bolte, second round pick out of Palo Alto High, local kid. I mean, we saw him go Oppo Jack. We went down, did a little scouting. You went drinking, I went scouting. Stockton against San Jose. I had to buy right field Will a drink, right?
Yeah, you were slinging the drinks around for everyone.
I was just buying, and Bolte went Oppo Tank at San Jose Muni. I didn't even give up Oppo Tanks pitching at San Jose. San Jose State and the San Jose Giants playing the same ballpark. I gave up a ton of home runs. I didn't give up a tanker Oppo Tank to a right-hander. Bolte with a wood bat going opposite field was impressive. I'm high on Henry Bolte.
Good player. I like him too. I think the good player in high school. He was built pretty. I mean, he was pretty built for being an 18-year-old kid. Good speaker.
He looked like a free safety walking up to us. It was like, this kid's got cannons. He was strapped. He was built like a grown man who lifts like Henry Bolte. When he walked up to us, he gets drafted second round, right? The super high pick. He comes up to our set, A's Cast Live, right on the field. You know where we hang out. Henry Bolte comes walking up, and it's odd because how tall is he? He's big.
He is 6'3", according to Baseball Reference.
6'3". He looks like he's right out of the gym. He's got biceps. He's a big kid. He comes walking up, but he's got the face of a 12-year-old.
Fact.
So it's like weird. He's got this grown-ass man's body, like he's been lifting. He could tear you apart, but then he looks like he's 12 years old. So his body and his head don't fit each other. It's funny now, but years later, he'll always, guys like that always look like they're 10 years younger than they are.
Yeah.
So when he's 60, he'll look 50.
Yeah, played in 112 games for Stockton, hit 14 jacks, hit 257, a 778 OPS. First full year in the minor leagues, that's not bad.
19 years old.
Yeah.
And he came, and a lot of those numbers came later on when we were seeing him. He was hot when we saw him. And you're like, man, I love this. I love the fact I'm going to be down in Arizona doing this spring game, the spring breakout. I'm fired up. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think for all of us, like at this point, as we get into spring training, you start going, oh, great, more games. Can we just get this thing going? But I think this spring breakout game where we have every hardcore fan follows their top 30 and maybe even more. Well, your top 30 is going to be in this game, and you're going to be up against the Giants' top 30. I think it's exciting. It's a brilliant idea. It's the only time you have all your prospects together because after this, you send them all over the country.
Yeah. So they'll be going to Vegas, Lansing, Midland, Stockton, and Arizona. I don't know how many guys will be playing in the rookie league, but it's where a lot of those guys will be throughout the year.
Sad news today. Remember, we just did know your Reds. Noelvi Marte popped 80 games PEDs. Rated the number one prospect in the Reds system. Banned for an anabolic androgenic steroid. I have no idea what that means. I know what anabolic steroid is. I don't think I really need to look it up. Do I need androgenic? I don't. Basically, it's the same thing I'm going to tell you about Ramon Laureano. You have people that will try and lie to you and tell you they got a substance at GNC and there was something that the GNC or the company that GNC is selling this company stuff and it's a tainted. That's how I tested positive and I'm going to get to the bottom of this. And they give you that kind of garbage. And that happens all the time. That was Frankie Montas. I should have been more careful. I came to you and I was honest. And as you know, I know everybody in the clubhouse. And as if they could talk, they would tell you. Inside a Major League Baseball clubhouse, they have everything that is approved by Major League Baseball that you can take. So you can say, I want protein this, I want that. They have what is legal, everything for you. So Frankie Montas going outside and getting a substance that he claims wherever he got it from, and he just didn't know, and it was over the counter, and sorry, I should know better. No. You can try that excuse. But when you talk anabolic steroids, there is none. You can't say, oh, I backed up into this needle and someone shot a steroid in my butt. I was at a club, and I felt this thing in my butt, and there was a needle with steroid. Anabolic steroids don't work that way. Anabolic steroids can't magically, I was eating a good steak. Anabolic steroids don't get into your system that way. You were cheating. And it just goes to show, no matter what, athletes are always going to try and get an edge. They're always going to try and get an edge. I mean, how about the Fernando Tatis one? Ringworm. Oh, come on, man. But you know what you do? You got to own it. You just got to own it. The best way to handle it is to step up and say, I made a mistake, and I'm going to leave here and be gone, but I will be back, and I will be a better person. Poof, leave it at that. That's all you got to say. I made a mistake. I'm going to take my punishment. I'm going to learn from it. And when I come back, I'll be better because of it. Poof, go away. And the next thing you know, you're playing down in the minor leagues, and then you come back. You served your time. We all get it. And you still can have a wonderful career. Right?
Yeah, for sure. We've seen it happen with some guys already.
What? Ramon Laureano's back playing with Cleveland. Frankie Montas just signed the deal.
Bartolo Colon.
Our guy Bartolo Colon survived the PED. So, I mean, that's the thing. We were just talking about the Reds because we played the Reds the other day. I mean, for Marte, it's you really this I got. You can't handle it like Frankie Montas. You can't be like I bought this bottle and it was over the counter and I should have known better. And no, you did it. You did PEDs. Marte's just got to step up and say, I did it. I'm sorry. I'll learn from it. And when I come back, I'll be better for it. And then leave. And then when he comes back, we're a forgiving society. The Reds fans will forgive him. Baseball. You cannot. And that was the thing with Ramon Laureano. You cannot bluff your way out of anabolic steroids. You can't. There's nothing you can buy at GNC over the counter that's going to make you test positive for an anabolic steroid. We all know that. So that's just the deal. Jeff knows that. I mean, Jeff, you've been in baseball now for years. You try and tell these kids how to do it. I mean, the best way to do it is you say sorry, you go off on suspension, say you're going to be a better player when you come back and a better person. Say sorry and come back, and we'll forgive you. But I know you've heard the news today about Marte. It's sad news. I mean, because he's obviously one of the bright young players for the Cincinnati Reds.
Yeah, it's too bad when you hear stuff like this because it happens to good people, it happens to bad people, it happens to everybody. But the thing is just as you said, you go out there, you own it, and as soon as you own it, you come back and people forget about it, right? It's when you make a much bigger deal out of it. And you say, no, I don't know what I'm talking about. I didn't know that I was doing it. I got mixed up. These players have all of the resources at their fingertips. Saying that you messed up means you messed up in a big, big way because you didn't ask the right questions and you tried something you shouldn't have tried. These players have way too many resources to get stuff like this wrong these days.
We're unveiling something here on A's Cast. I've got everything from I got the rally monkey when I'm ripping the Angels. I used to rip Otani. Well, I got more gimmicks around here. I got Mariner stuff. I'm unveiling this for the first time ever on the show. Bernie Brewer, baby.
Nice.
You like that?
I do like that. You need an updated logo cap, but that is a great looking pillow right there. That's amazing.
You have no idea what it took for me to get this because we don't get a lot of Brewer gear here in Northern California, as you know.
Yeah. Did you sell a kidney or something for that? What'd you have to give up?
My boss found it somehow in the Coliseum. This was in like a back closet of the Coliseum. And I was like, oh, I got to take that. So you won't be able to see it, but on our other cameras, you will. We are honoring the Brewers who, by the way, I was looking it up. August 3rd on last year, the Brew Crew went 33-19, went on a run. That was fantastic. There's a lot of questions going on with the Brewers this year. What is it like in camp?
A lot of question marks. And let me just put this on the record. When the Brewers come to Oakland in late August, early September this year, I'll bring you some new stuff. Okay? Sound good?
How many tickets are you going to need?
Not too many. I'm not going to need too many. Well, I don't know who's going to come out of the woodwork, but definitely mom and dad, but a handful of people. So we'll figure it out.
If you need tickets, trust me, we got plenty.
All right. You'll be the first person I go to, Chris. There are a lot of question marks surrounding this team, right? So Corbin Burns is gone. He's now a Baltimore Oriole. DL Hall comes over. Joey Ortiz comes over. You get a pick out of that. I think everybody was kind of seeing the writing on the wall of Corbin Burns being done in this organization after what happened with the arbitration stuff, as we discussed previous to our season last year on A's Cast. Brandon Woodruff is going to be out this year with a shoulder issue. He might be back in September, but I find that to be very hard to believe. Signed a 2-year deal, so he'll be back hopefully in 2025. Third base is a question. Willie Adames is in the last year of his deal. They have some young kids. They have some young talent, but they're going to need a lot of innings from a lot of new people in that starting rotation. That's the biggest question. Where do you get the innings from with basically 1.5 starters in your rotation? You got Freddie Peralta, and then what? What's Wade Miley going to give you? He's older in age. He's already dealing with the shoulder issue. Colin Ray had a great season last year, but are you going to rely on him for 6 innings per start? Then you look at some piggyback situations. So how are you going to get through all of those innings through your starting rotation? Because the bullpen is going to be good. Bullpen was really good last year too. It's a lot of the same names. But how are you going to get the baseball to those guys in the bullpen? I think that's the biggest question with the Brewers going into the season.
Yeah, getting ready for this. 6 guys from last year went 11 or more starts for the Brewers. 3 of them are gone, and we all have this. We all have the same question: how are we going to get the innings? How are we going to get all these outs? Whether it's Kotze, Murphy, whoever, like these managers, I don't know how they sleep at night because there's 4,374 outs you got to get in a season, not counting extra innings. That's a lot of outs, and I don't know how any of us are going to get all those outs. Well, Council's gone.
Yeah.
Murph's there. What is there a difference in camp, or is it business as usual? What's it been like?
It's business as usual. Listen, the entire coaching staff from last year returned. And I think that was a big part of Pat Murphy getting this job, is that you can keep the continuity with Murphy. You add Ricky Weeks as an associate manager. I mean, Ricky Weeks intimidates the crap out of me just by looking at him. He looks like he can go out there and hit 20 homers right now. He is still in great shape. I think he's older than me by maybe a year. So he's unbelievable. So, and he respects and he demands respect, and he gets a lot of respect from the players. But the coaching staff there is really good. They haven't missed a beat. The biggest difference is, and I've used this analogy a ton, but it's when your substitute teacher becomes your full-time teacher, the voice changes, right? You're not just bringing out the cart with the tube TV on it and popping in the VHS because it's substitute teacher time. You actually got to listen to what the teacher's trying to tell you. And Murph's been around a ton. He's coached at the college level, at the highest levels. College World Series runs at Arizona State. He's been in the Padres organization for years. He's been with the Brewers organization now. This is his 9th season in the Brewers system. He knows what it takes. He's ready for the opportunity. I think his voice, while it's different as a bench coach than it is as a manager, he's got a young team that listens, and he knows how to motivate. So they haven't missed a beat in terms of Craig being gone. Craig was great for 9 seasons as the Brewers skipper. He moves to Chicago. I don't blame him for doing the move. Makes a lot of money. Gets to stay in Milwaukee and commute down to Chicago if he wants to. It's only an hour and a half. Gets to see his kids grow up. More power to him. You root for him until they're playing the Brewers. And then it's all Brew Crew at that point.
All right. It's about, can you score runs too? And you talked about Adames could be traded at the end of his contract here. Rhys Hoskins is now a Brewer. And I know immediately when you sign, you go, hey, can he get back to being like a 30-plus home run guy? That would be huge for you. What are your expectations for him? He didn't play last year.
Yeah, I think Rhys, he's healthy, first and foremost. He's homered twice this week, hit a grand slam today the other way against the A's in Maryville. So I think he is ready to go. He's played some first base. He's looked good at first base. He's moving around pretty well, testing that torn ACL. He feels good. He was thinking about playing for the Phillies last October, ended up not working out. They had Bryce Harper over there, but I think he's fully healthy from the ACL. They'll take it easy on him early in the season. They'll get some DHABs. He'll play some first base. But I think they're expecting big things from Rhys. I mean, sign him to that 2-year deal, well, 1 year plus the option year afterwards. And it's a ballpark that he has really thrived in. He's hit over 400 at American Family Field in the course of his career. Ball flies out to right center. Listen, he's a Northern California guy, went to the same high school I went to. So I'm rooting for him. He's a great dude. And hopefully the Brewers, who haven't had a ton of right-handed power bats in their lineup recently, they're hoping that they can get a ton out of Rhys Hoskins. He's going to fit perfectly sandwiched around William Contreras and then a Christian Yelich and then Rhys Hoskins. It's going to look good in the middle of that Brewers lineup.
Well, if you play fantasy baseball and you're ready to you got your draft going, and I said to you, I got Christian Yelich I could draft right now. What am I going to get Because I've seen Christian Yelich where people are saying, man, he could rival Mike Trout as the best guy in the game a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
What Christian Yelich am I getting in 2024?
I think you're going to get more of the Christian Yelich from 2023, which is not an MVP candidate, but a very, very productive season. Hit around 270, 19 homers, stole almost 30 bases, scored 100 runs, was on base about 40% of the time. The OPS was about 800, especially from the leadoff spot. You take an OPS of 800 from the leadoff spot. There's no doubt about that.
Oh, yeah.
I think defensively he is who he is. He'll get some DHABs. But a very productive Christian Yelich last year. He's not going to hit 330 like he did in his MVP season. But I think he'll get close to what that 270 was, maybe 20 homers, 30 stolen bases, scoring 100 runs. It's a really good, productive player. Is he going to go in the first round? No. First round of a fantasy baseball draft? No. But he's a really good fifth round value guy, in my opinion.
All right, we're going to end on this because during spring training, we whoever the A's are playing, we have our broadcasters come on. So we're going to have the game in Vegas on after, because you're in Arizona, right?
Yes. Yeah. We did not travel to Vegas. We're in AZ.
Okay. So we're the game's coming on in Vegas after us. So usually with Johnny, but today's Vince, we play Know the opposing team. So
Okay.
today is Know Your Brewers with Vince. So we have a list of questions. We're just going to give you one. Know
Okay.
Your Brewers. What, Commander, what do you got?
I'm trying to think of what the best one would be. Because I
Just
feel like-
remember that Vince has an in because his son Dom
Correct.
does our stats on TV and he works for our
That's
radio
New
station with
Brewers.
Great Post. So I'm just
I
letting you
go back to Harvey Wallbangers, right? Cecil Cooper. Are you
Okay.
kidding me? I'm old school.
All right,
went
let's
to
go.
Florida. What do you got?
I'll ask him this one.
Okay.
Prior to Corbin Burns winning the Cy Young, who was the last guy to win it for the Brewers?
Raleigh Fingers.
Incorrect.
Close.
Pete Vukovich.
Oh, Vuki in 83.
Yeah,
No,
80.
No, it was 82. Raleigh was
Raleigh
81.
wanted-
So
yeah,
Vuki was
Raleigh wanted
82.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. There's a lot of crossover between the Brewers and the A's, right? You
Yeah.
got obviously Raleigh Fingers. We talk about Sal Bando for years. Was Phil Gardner was the manager. Sal was the GM. Bob Melvin, Chris Davis, Mark Kotze. I mean, it's all over the place.
Yeah, no doubt. It's a great feeder system for both organizations, right? They either start with the A's and come over. How about Chris Carter? I'll throw that name out there for you.
Chris Carter. Wow.
Yeah, led the National League in homers in 16.
John Jaha is another
Johnny
great
Jaha.
Brewer A. Yes.
Johnny Jaha is great for the Immaculate Grid. Great for the grid.
Let's not forget the Cobra Dave Parker.
Oh, that's right. Taking practice hacks in the on-deck circle with a sledgehammer.
If you
Is
want
that the most intimidating thing ever? You're like, dude's swinging a sledgehammer, and he's a monster of a man.
I want no part of that guy coming to the plate. Or if I'm catching, you
Four
can have
wide
home plate, man.
4 wide ones. I'm walking this guy. I want no
Yeah.
part.
one other guy, Matt Stairs.
Oh, Matt Stairs.
Matty Stairs.
Yes.
Great,
yeah.
great Canadian.
Matt Stairs and Ken Maka managed both teams.
Sure did.
There you go. Hey,
Kenny Maka.
appreciate you stopping by after a nice day of work there in Arizona. Good luck this season. Can't wait to see you in Oakland. Of course, we'll have you on a few times during the season, but be well.
Likewise. Thanks, Chris. We'll have the swag ready for you when the Brewers come out to Oaktown.
We're honoring you today. We got
Love
you.
it.
All right, buddy. See ya.
See ya. Thank you.
He's from Sacramento, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he told us he went to Chapman College down in LA.
Grew up going to A's game. Yeah, we got our Bernie Brewer today. Let's get him up here. Honor the Brew. We got no animosity to the Brew Crew. How do you not like the Brew Crew? People do not like the Green Bay Packers.
No.
Once again, a great example of why baseball is so sheltered and wrong in what they do. Another example, Green Bay, Wisconsin is the smallest professional sports market that there is. There's nothing smaller in the Big Four. And yet the Green Bay Packers, I know they're owned by this city and it's basically like a corporation. I get it. I've been to Green Bay. I've done it all. But how is Green Bay They're not small market. They're prime time. They're always in the playoffs. They're always good. And Milwaukee is considered small market. And baseball will sell you on that. That's how archaic and how the agents in baseball have made baseball not be as powerful and as great now as the NFL or the NBA. Cincinnati. I don't know. Bengals were just in the Super Bowl, and as long as they have Joe Burrow, they're going to be on primetime television.
Small market in Major League Baseball, though.
How about your Steelers versus your Pirates?
Yeah.
Last time I checked, the Milwaukee Bucks won an NBA title, and they're a primetime team. So I could give you baseball at small market, but football in the NBA, you don't see that. And then, I could do a whole thing on this. Let's go to the New York teams. Obviously, the Yankees are going to be prime time. The New York Giants have won Super Bowls, but the rest of the New York teams stink. Jets, Knicks, they haven't even won in your lifetime.
No.
Islanders, Devils.
I don't think the Knicks have won in most people's lifetimes.
My lifetime they have.
Well, I mean, like,
but the Jets haven't won in my lifetime. The Joe Namath and the Jets was before I was born.
Yeah. The Rangers haven't won in a while. The Islanders haven't won since, the 80s?
It's stupid. It's stupid that baseball teams are still considered small market. And we go, wait a minute. There's an NBA team. They're not considered small market. There's football there. They're not considered small market. Well, as long as it's like, and it like we bring on our buddies from Sirius XM, and I even bring up a song, that'll never happen. You're like the old guys in Moneyball. It'll never happen. You can't have it. Man, if there was ever a time to break these players, look at what they're doing to Scott Boras right now. Baseball needs a salary cap. If baseball had a salary cap like the other sports, we wouldn't be talking about small markets versus big markets. We wouldn't.
Who's Fabio?
That's what I'm talking about. Whenever I hear someone say we can't have a salary cap, I go, oh, obviously you don't follow the NFL and the NBA. Seems to work for them.
Hockey, too, if you watch it.
Everybody else has it but baseball, and now baseball every year just keeps dropping. Man, if we could get everybody to be on the same footing and everything was the same. Are the Miami Dolphins considered small market?
Not that I know of, no. And they also have some of the best.
When they were Dan Marino, they were primetime Monday Night Football.
Fact.
Marlins, nope. How about when Tampa Bay either was going through their Super Bowl run the first time or with Tom Brady, was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers ever considered small market?
No, and their hockey team won back-to-back Stanley Cups.
So these other sports are not small market. And baseball, they are? It just does not make sense. It just does not make sense. Who we got coming up?
Fran's not till he's going on after batting practice, 5:15.
By the way, a stat for everybody out there, because no one really thinks about it, grounding into double plays. That's a killer, right? It's a pitcher's best friend. The Marlins grounded into the most double plays last year at 159. Brewers were second at 144. Padres were third at 134. And then the Blue Jays at 129. And I guarantee you a lot of them were Vladimir Guerrero Jr. But that's a list you do not want to be on. I don't know where we are on that from last year. Doesn't really matter when you win 50 games. But you ground into a lot of double plays. Ooh, that hurts.
When you told me the numbers and the teams, the Padres didn't surprise me when I heard that because obviously we know Soto's not fast and they have some guys that aren't good base runners.
And you knew how many of those double plays came late when they couldn't win in extra inning games. They were terrible. Padres were awful in one-run games. How much late in games were they hitting into double plays?
The Marlins surprised me a little bit because John Birdie's very fast. Jazz Chisholm's a good runner. They have some speed on.
I don't know if speed. There's a correlation to that.
Just hustling down the line. Depends if guys are hustling down the line trying to when they're turning the double.
How about Rowdy Tellez? He's not. He's
probably hitting a lot. He's a Pirate now. He'll into double plays this year.
Well, he was there last year.
He was a Brewer last year. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's I'm thinking about big dudes. So speed, I don't know how much. I don't know even how much speed because we've had fast guys hit into double plays.
Yeah.
Then you have guys like Albert Pujols was an absolute slug.
They would be turning it to catch the first baseman have it in his glove and pull us be halfway down the line. Some guys just run down the line and then they go like they do it and they cut right back to the dugout.
Getting back to the Noelvi Marte drug suspension. God, here you have the Cincinnati Reds, who are a chic pick in the NL Central. People are fired up on the Reds. They've got all kinds of guys. I mean, Ellie, Steer, they've got all kinds of players. That Marte was this guy that they were all super excited about.
McLean, they're another infielder they have that's supposed to be good. Encarnacio Strand, the Bay Area kid.
This is not a way to start at all. By the way, speaking of Churio, I didn't mention Churio with Levering. Churio, this guy, he signed the 8-year, 82 Jackson Churio, who they go can play all three outfield positions, hit. He can do it all. Run, hit, power, average, throw, can do it all. He's another of these guys, 8 years, $82 million deal, and he's never played before. Do you like those deals?
I mean, a lot of these guys sign these deals. I do, and I do because some of the guys sign them, they don't get paid a lot of money. Like a couple of years ago, the Mariners gave Evan White a bunch of money. It was like 6 for 24 or something like that, and the guy's never played in major. I mean,
we just had the guy last year against us. Who was the guy that the Astros paid all that money to? Or someone paid him the money and he never made it, and then he came up last year with the Astros, started hitting some bombs.
John Singleton, former Brewer.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
I think these deals are so overthought, and it's just they're ridiculous. They're absolute. You're giving a guy 82. You're like, I'm going to spend money now because he might be really good, and then once he gets really good, then I'm going to owe him a lot of money. And it's like, when is that?
I think one of the first.
You tell me when. I don't know. Has any of these deals worked?
I would say I think one of the first ones I remember was when the Phillies gave Scott Kingery a deal when he was in the minors, and he never really produced anything. Evan White won a Gold Glove, but he was a guy. Remember, he was a guy
None
traded.
of these guys.
A lot of them haven't worked out.
You need people, and that's part of a professional athlete's growth. You got to earn it.
There was a prospect that just got one this offseason besides Churio that actually happened when we were in Nashville. He was in Nashville when we were there. I remember seeing him walk through the concourses at Opry, what are we at? The Grand Old Opry, wherever we were staying at.
Opryland.
I remember
Grand Old Opry's next door, which I went to. It was pretty cool.
There was another prospect, I swear, this offseason, like for who got what team.
But do you understand what I'm saying? You give Jamarcus Russell $40-something million, right? You give certain guys this money. It's not smart. Like you're almost overthinking it. I need my players to earn it. You got to put the carrot in front of them. You give the financial security already. I know you're trying to bank against the mega contract. I don't, given a guy that's never done anything, $82 million. $82 million. He's never played in the big leagues. And, oh, by the way, we're starting to see the trend. Teams don't want to give the big contracts out anymore. I don't even know how. I mean, remember all that? Like Juan Soto will be fascinating.
He's part of the, we haven't got to it yet, but.
It will be fascinating. Juan Soto can't get the number that he was offered by the Washington Nationals.
Yeah, especially, and he's a Boris guy.
If he can't get that number and he turned down the 4, I'm going to take a wild guess and say it was like 468.
It was something high, yeah.
It was something 4 something. I might be out over my skis on the 68. It was over $400 million.
Real quick, remember there was a prospect that Detroit gave Colt Keith, who was a top prospect, a 6-year, $28.6 million deal this offseason. I don't think he's even appeared in the majors
yet. Kind of, okay. That's $28 million. This is $82 million.
Yeah, he didn't.
$82 million. You know how many professional athletes will never make $82 million? Guys who've been good players. This guy's never done anything, and you gave him $82 million.
A lot of the guys that get these deals are.
And I don't care what year and how it kicks in, because already the Braves did this, and everybody applauded the Braves, and already the rumblings are Ronald Acuna Jr., who signed that super friendly $100 million, and everybody went, oh, man, that's super cheap. Rumors are coming around after last year, and he's the MVP. He's not happy with the deal.
Yeah, I was going to see how many years he has left on that
So let me
deal.
tell you something. If Churio's as good as they think he is, right? And let's say this kid comes out and he's incredible. You think he's going to be sitting there happy that he's got $82 million? You're going to have to redo this damn thing anyway. So why even pay him when he's not? You've got to pay him the minimum.
Yeah.
Why would you overpay now? Because if he gets that good anyway, he's going to literally make your life hell and make you pay him a bigger contract.
Ronald Acuna Jr. is getting paid through 2028. He's making $17 million a year.
I don't know how he gets by.
Yeah. I remember the other one too is they give
but that's still how old?
30.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. They got him. They don't have to do anything. It's now all going to depend on, does Acuna start to be a problem? Does he start to be like, does this get out into the press? Does this start filtering? Does this start being something that bubbling? Hey, man, this sucks. I'm the best player in the game. I won the MVP. You're only paying me $17 million. You go, well, we gave you the security way back when you were cool with it. Well, now I'm not cool with it. And now I know by the time I'm done with this, I'm going to be in my 30s, and then you're not going to want to pay me again. You're not going to want to not go as long. You're not. So it's like these deals, are you sure? Are you sure it's good business?
Yeah, the other one they gave out was Albies was like 5 for 35 when they resigned Ozzie.
That's
Albies.
a good deal for the Braves.
It's only
right?
$7 million a year or whatever it was. Yeah.
But man, $82 million to a guy who hasn't played, and let's just say he's okay. I mean, if he totally exceeds the amount of $82 million, you're gonna have to pay him long term. I just don't understand. Like, I don't understand I'd like to be in the room and be like, well, why don't you want him to earn it?
Yeah, essentially you're thinking
prove it. Prove you can do it. Prove he stays healthy, right? That's another thing. Prove he can stay healthy. Prove he can play every day. Stop telling me. I watched a video on him today. They were doing this making of the youth of the Brewer, and every coach is like, this guy can do everything. Well, how many times have we heard that? Josh Hamilton had all the talent in the world. He's the next Mickey Mantle. Guy couldn't stay sober. Guy couldn't stay straight. I mean, how many times is somebody going to be the next Willie Mays, the next Mickey Mantle, the next Nolan Ryan, the next this, the next that? Make him prove it. Dangle the carrot. Hey, if you do that, then you will get all these millions.
I think what they're trying to do is they're projecting him to be projecting.
Oh, I know what they're doing.
Yeah, they're projecting him to be a great player, and they're putting a lot of pressure on him already. I know he's the number 2 ranked prospect in baseball behind only Jackson Holiday, but I mean.
But the thing is, if he does live up to that, he is not going to want to. This contract, if he shows up this year, and look, do you want to go Dion?
If you ball, you get the call.
If he balls and he gets the call, you think 3 years from now he's going to be cool with this contract?
No, and he's only 19 too.
Because you've given him the money, so you've blown past the minimum. You've blown past arbitration. He doesn't know what that world is. His world is he's got millions, and now if he's one of the best players, he's going to be like, you need to pay me like that or trade me. And you're like, well, no. We gave you this 8-year contract years ago, and you were cool with it. Yeah, everybody's cool with it early. Everybody's cool. Everybody's cool when you're broke and you got no money and someone gives you money. You're cool then. But once you've established the numbers and you realize what your real worth is, now you want to change things. And that happens in all walks of life. All walks of life. My first contract I ever signed in my career, right? I was thrilled. I was in my 20s. I've got a guaranteed contract. I'm making money. I felt great. Got married, bought the ring. I was big ball and shot calling, but all of a sudden we had numbers on the show. And I was like, I'm worth more. It happened to me. It happens to everybody. You get paid early. At first, you're cool with it. But then if you produce, you then now know you're underpaid. I mean, how many guys in the NFL take a deal and take a signing bonus and they're happy at the time, but all of a sudden they start putting up Pro Bowl numbers and they're like, whoa, time to renegotiate. Watch. Acuna has another big year, which he will. He's not cool with this contract. The rumblings are already there.
Do you think the Brewers did this because they have buyer's remorse on what they did with Yelich? They feel like locking up a young guy and giving him a kind of team-friendly deal because they gave Yelich that deal, and they probably feel like they've overpaid him because he hasn't replicated what he did in those MVP years.
I don't know. Also, Churio's deal, this Jackson Churio kid, I don't know how the 8 years works out. I don't know. I'm just saying at some point you're going to be looking at this. If he's that great of a player, he's going to want way more money, and then they start having problems. And then you start having problems. You have rich people problems. They want more. I want what I'm worth. And you're going to be like, well, when you were a kid, how old is he?
19.
When you're 19, we gave you an 8-year deal with all this money. I don't care now. I'm an all-star. I'm this. I'm that. This is what I'm worth. And the agents and the people around you are filling your head with all of this stuff.
I wonder if there's like escalators or incentives in his deal.
I guarantee.
Like if he wins an MVP.
But whatever. It says $82 million. He's getting $82 million.
Yeah.
Who do we have? When do we have at 5? Is it 5?
It's supposed to be like 5:15, Fran.
Okay. We will know your Buffalo Bills.
God, who was the kicker after Norwood?
After Scott Norwood? My God, that'd be in the early 90s.
I know it was the guy that was there when they went to Super Bowl. God, who was the kicker? It was a big thing. I watched the 4 Falls of Buffalo or whatever, the 30 for 30. Whoever the kicker they brought in after was.
You're asking me who the kicker of like the 93 Bills is?
Yeah, they only went to 4 straight Super Bowls. We should know the whole roster.
No.
Marv Levy.
No. Nerds like you would know the whole roster. People like me.
Bill Polian.
Yeah, you bet on it, you win or lose, and you move on. I don't remember what was going on in
Frank
93.
Reich.
You got the backup court. Darryl Talley.
Andre Reed.
I mean, do you really know the entire? Do you
No,
know the entire roster of a team?
No, I'm looking. I'm remember the
By
guys.
the way, you know what I saw on Instagram that was great? Some guy went around to Niner fans. Hey, where did Brock Purdy go to school? He asked. All these people are all decked out in Niner gear, and he goes, "Are you a big Niner fan?" They're, I'm total faithful, and that's when you know they're a new fan when you say you're a faithful. But he went around to all these different people. No one could tell him where Brock Purdy went to college. But they're huge Niner fans. This one woman had Niner tats. She's all decked out. Niners are my team. And it's like, okay, where'd Brock Purdy go to school? Crickets.
He was a Cyclone.
Mm-hmm. One guy said Iowa, though. At least he had Iowa.
Bright State.
That would be a Hawkeye.
Yeah. That's George Kittle.
You
C.J. Beathard.
Hayden Fry, the longtime coach at Iowa. He used to paint the visiting locker rooms pink. Did you ever hear about that?
No.
Why don't you do some football history? Iowa's visiting locker room was painted pink.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Kirk Ferentz has been there forever now. The guy
now wouldn't be, that'd be kind of frowned upon in today's world. But you're just waiting for that UCLA Iowa matchup, a rematch of the '84 Rose Bowl.
Actually, I'm more excited for USC Iowa, but
USC Maryland.
I'm actually when UCLA and Rutgers get together, when Greg Schiano takes on, well, not Chip Kelly anymore.
My children,
Deshaun Foster is the coach at UCLA.
My children may or may not be going to an ACC school.
I didn't realize they were going to go to Wake Forest. It's a long way away.
Actually, they could. My children. How about this? My children could either be going to an ACC or a Big Ten school, and both of them are in California. How nut job is that?
Well, it's college. That's college athletics now. Well, at least football and basketball.
You could have never said that. You could have never predicted that. The Townsend twins that you may have followed. They used to do the jokes on 95.7 The Game on my show. I've talked about my kids for years. My kids could either be going to an ACC or a Big Ten school, and my kids will not leave California. That's crazy. The great Fran Riordan, manager of the Las Vegas Aviators, is going to join us right here on A's Cast Live.
Hey, Oakland A's fans, join your team this spring in Mesa. With nonstop flights direct from Oakland, there's never been a better time to head to the Southwest. Surrounded by the stunning Sonoran Desert, spring training fans know why Arizona is the perfect spring break escape. Miles of trails, shoreline, and sunshine combined for an unforgettable Arizona adventure. There's simply no shortage of things to do, see, and discover in Mesa. Get your visitor's guide at visitmesa.com.
Nestled in the hills of San Jose, minutes from Silicon Valley, Cinnabar Hills Golf Club offers 27 holes of championship golf, first-class pro shop, practice facility, and great food in the grill. This time of year also means family and business get-togethers. Let the folks at Cinnabar Hills make your event unforgettable while enjoying their award-winning venue. It's all there for you. Championship golf, a great space for any events, and incredible food. See it all at CinnabarHills.com. That's CinnabarHills.com.
This is Chris Townsend. There are two things that are a must for me: comfort and style. Whether I'm playing golf, going to dinner, I've got to have the right feel. That's why I've partnered with Linksole, and you're going to love Linksole. They have just released their new spring line, new fabrics for their polos, lightweight and perfect for technical performance. Linksole also has new styles for their layers and hoodies with cool prints and seasonal colors. You know what they say in the big leagues: look good, play good. Go to linksole.com. That's linksole.com.
If you're looking for a new mattress, Nest Bedding has you covered. Sleep on the same mattress Hall of Famer Ricky Henderson sleeps on. Nest Bedding is the #1 brand of online mattresses and the Bay Area's favorite mattress store. Take home the Easy Breather pillow. The New York Times calls it their #1 pick. You can navigate their easy-to-use website, nestbedding.com. That's nestbedding.com. Green and Gold fans, use the coupon code Oakland and you get 10% off your entire order. Nest Bedding, love where you sleep.
Ever since we got Xfinity, we have Wi-Fi all over the house, even in my hiding spots.
Ha! Found you.
How?
That's wall-to-wall Wi-Fi from Xfinity. Now through March 21st, get started with 200 megabit internet for $25 a month for 2 years with no annual contract and get Wi-Fi equipment included. Go to Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY or visit a store today. Requires paperless bill and auto-pay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Taxes and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply to internet service and Wi-Fi equipment. Actual speeds vary.
A's general manager David Forst was on A's Cast Live during the winter meetings and explained why the team was moving Mason Miller to the bullpen.
Mason's tried starting now over 3 years, minor league, big leagues, keeps coming up with something, and we're going to try the pen. And you know, to Mason's credit, he's open to whatever. He's obviously a little disappointed. I think everybody wants to be a starter when it comes down to it. But I mean, he, you know, obviously, like you said, with his stuff, he could have a really impressive career in the bullpen. But we told him this is not permanent. Like, go out there, let's try and keep you healthy for a year. That's got to be the first step. That way you help yourself, you help the team, and then we can reevaluate.
You can watch the full interview at youtube.com/athletics or listen at athletics.com/A'sCast.
If you're looking for a great place to eat and watch games, go see our friends at the Chicken Pie Shop of Walnut Creek. The Chicken Pie Shop is one of the hottest restaurants in Walnut Creek. You're not going to find a better menu, and come try their world-famous chicken pie that has been served in Southern California for 86 years. Spacious indoor and outdoor dining, perfect for your next private party or corporate event. Don't forget free parking. For more information, go to chickenpieshopwc.com. That's chickenpieshopwc.com.
Nick Allen joined Towny on A's Cast Live and discussed the conversation he had with his teammates regarding 2024.
Rooker came Geloff and I a little bit, last year, but he was just like, we can't do this again. You know, we got to find a way to really work our, tails off to get better and put us in a better position. And then, Zach and I always talk about, we were like, sink or swim, especially in our division, so we got to find a way to make it happen. Else, it doesn't happen. So that's just I think that's hopefully going to be our motto, but we just got to obviously take it day by day and just keep getting better.
You can watch the full interview at youtube.com/athletics or listen at athletics.com/A'sCast.
And the underdogs Oakland Athletics win their first championship since they were in Philadelphia in 1930.
Hi, I'm Raleigh Fingers, Hall of Famer, 3-time World Series champion with the Oakland A's and World Series MVP. Winning takes teamwork, skill, and heart. So when you need an ace for a personal injury lawyer that will win you the game, go with the winning team. Call Venardi Zerata at 833-VZ-for-me or go to vzlawfirm.com. Venardi Zerata, the official injury law firm of the Oakland A's.
Like sports, business is about winning. Championship decisions are business decisions based on what it takes to help your company win. And that's why there's UBO Business Services, specializing in helping you win every day by streamlining workflows, managing documents, and providing the best-in-class office technology. Make your championship decision with UBO Business Services. Visit them at ubeo.com. That's ubeo.com.
The A's YouTube page is your go-to destination for A's video content. Get access to great highlights, exclusive behind-the-scenes content, classic games, A's Cast Live, and more. Visit youtube.com/athletics.
Streaming from the studio, A's Cast Live continues with Chris Townsend.
Well, things are a little bit different during spring. Like they don't. All right, here we go. Just trying to look. Can we find the lineup today? Ross Stripling had a little bit of a rough outing today. Noda had 2 more hits today, which is good. Tonight, this game's on. Is this game televised? Is that correct? No? Or is tomorrow's?
Not that I know of. No, not on our end. We're only doing the Giants game.
All right. Ruiz leading off, having a good spring. Geloff hitting second. Lawrence Butler, the law, is hitting third. Andujar, who's starting to really like. What are you going to do with him?
I asked you the question: is he this year's Brent Rooker when it comes to making decisions on the roster?
But the problem is you can't have multiple Brent Rookers.
True. Also, the thing with Andujar is he did finish in second in the Rookie of the Year voting. I know it was 6 years ago, but he's still.
His big year was 2018. Let's be honest.
It was a long time ago, yes.
But you can't have 2 right-handed, no defense guys. Rooker, I can play defense. Andujar is not. It's kind of like Jordan Diaz, right? It's like, where do you play? Andujar once was a third baseman that people can't put at third. He's not going to play first.
Now he's playing in the outfield.
Now he's outfield. I mean,
could be the 4th or 5th outfielder.
Because you want the bat?
Because of the bat, yeah.
All right. Sodi.
You can platoon him too.
Soderstrom will hit. That'll be what? 1, 2, 3, 4. Soderstrom at 5th. Daryl Hernandez 6th. McCann will catch 7th. Lugbauer will play 1st, hit 8th. And, Brett Harris will be playing in the ballpark he will be playing at because Brett Harris has not had a good spring.
No. Drew Lugbauer's had a nice spring.
He's hitting 200.
I mean, he had that walk-off hit. Was it a homer, I think it was? Has some pop from the left side.
This was, I would say, and we'll ask Fran, like for some guys, like I think for Brett Harris, kind of a disappointment, right? I mean, he goes out and just does what everybody thinks he can do. I mean, he's pushing for the third base job.
Who do we think has that? Do we think Hernandez has that on lock right now?
I don't put anything past what our front office will do. I'm just being honest, right? I'll think, well, like I thought it was crazy to get rid of Pache. I thought it was crazy. I mean, Pache, like 4 years from now, could still be playing and being a legit outfielder. I mean, that's still a possibility.
As a Philly or somewhere else?
Maybe as a Philly, maybe somewhere else. I don't know. But, I mean, I thought it was crazy. If you are truly building for the future, right? If you're building for 2028, right? But, so I don't know. I mean, is Toro going to be? I mean, you just signed Toro. I mean, there's a reason you signed him, right?
Yes. Well, you would think to play third or be a utility guy, but
wouldn't you say that the ballpark in Vegas is beautiful. We've been there.
Yeah, we went there 2020. We were there.
Yeah. I call it the house Fran built. He is the star of Summerlin. Skip, how are you?
I'm great. I think you're a little bit overzealous in your description of me, but
hey, I'm telling you right now, everybody knows when they think aviators, Fran Riordan is the leader of men in Las Vegas. How are you?
I'm great, man. It's good to be back in Vegas, and I'm just enjoying seeing old friends and being at the stadium for work and getting ready for a game here in about 45.
Yeah, I'm glad we're doing this. I apologize. We just couldn't make it work down in Arizona, but it's great to have you there because, I mean, joking aside, this area means a lot to you and the community means a lot to you. As you said, you have a lot of friendships there. The fan base that the Aviators have built is very, very loyal. And Vegas, when we talked like Sandy Alomar Jr. about when he was a Las Vegas Star and a Padre, I know I've talked to Bip Roberts about it. It's very special, AAA baseball in Las Vegas. Ken Korak knows all about it, but especially for you and your career, what this stop has meant.
There's just so much history and tradition with AAA baseball in Las Vegas, from the Stars to the 51s to the Aviators, transitioning in 2019 with Oakland. There's just so many great people that have been involved in baseball here for so many years. Your Don Logans, your Chuck Johnsons, and just like you said, the fan base is fantastic here. For the people that don't know, Las Vegas is a great sports town. It really is. They get behind their teams. You can see it in the Golden Knights. You can see it in the Aces. You can see it in the Aviators, and eventually we'll see it with the A's.
Yeah, and I'm not bringing this up because of the A's big club in 2028. As I mentioned, Sandy Alomar Jr., people that I know who have played there, and I know what it means to you. And I think about, some of the players that you're going to be having this year. And we just talked about Brett Harris has been a disappointing spring. Jordan Diaz had another rough game in Arizona against the Brewers. And I think what is it like for some guys who we think could be the future here with the A's, but they don't have the springs that they thought they're going to have. Now they come back to you at AAA. Your job is part psychiatrist, right? You got to build him back up. What is that like when a guy didn't have the spring that he wanted, didn't have the outcome he wanted, and now you got to get him going again?
Well, it's one of the most interesting aspects of the AAA manager's job. It is getting these guys back on track and letting them know that, hey, there has to be a plan. So you didn't make the major league team. What are you going to do about it? What is your plan to get either back to the big leagues or to the big leagues for the first time, so you can be a productive major leaguer for a long time to come? And everyone's different. Everyone has their own timetable. Everybody has their own way of processing disappointment, processing failure, and getting themselves back up off the floor and starting to fight again. And it's my job to get them fighting sooner rather than later. So, depending on the player and depending on, where he is in his career and where he is in his mindset, it's just really important to get them back with purpose, with motivation, with work ethic, and to get them back on the right track. It's interesting and it's a lot of fun. And, do I say the right things all the time? Probably not. I'm very keen that is a big part of what I need to do to get these guys to the big leagues.
Well, it's something that, a testament to your career and what you've established as, really, talk about being a manager, but it's like you're more than that. You're more than just a coach. As these players have talked to us about speeches and stuff and conversations, you got to have a lot of man-to-man talks, right? There's got to be a lot of like, hey, listen, it's not easy because as you mentioned, you deal with the excitement and just oh my God, I'm going to the big leagues. I'm living my ultimate dream, to, oh my God, what's my career going to be? You deal with wild emotions as a AAA manager.
Yeah, a lot of big swings. And, just like it's fantastic to tell a guy he's going to the big leagues for the first time, it's, the reverse feeling, not only for the player, but see a guy down who, for whatever reason, and have to kind of build himself back up and get to a point where he can go up to the big leagues again and be productive. There are wild swings and a lot of man-to-man tough conversations that had to be had again harder, and can't be a really hard conversation.
Hey, Fran, try and reconnect with us. You're breaking up a lot.
Okay, hold on 1 second.
We got time. It's Ace Cast. This is not your terrestrial radio where you'd be freaking out right now.
Well, I mean, the nice thing.
You'd be freaking out. Oh, yeah.
Well, the nice thing is we can, if we have to, we can call them.
Yeah.
Because the Wi-Fi, we know some places Wi-Fi is not always the best.
That's all right. He's back. He's back.
Okay, all right.
What do you think?
Fran, are you there?
No. Should we just call him?
Can you just call him?
Yeah, I can call him. Oh, wait.
How's that?
No, he's still delayed.
Nope. So we'll call you.
All right, let me get that set up. Hold on.
Sorry, now we've seen him already. The fact that you've seen him.
Yeah, give me a second to get that set up. I have to.
No problem. No problem. But yeah, I mean, think about that. There's a lot of tough conversation. We think about the promotion. Hey, you're going to the big leagues. Call your parents, call your wife, call your girlfriend, call your family. But there's a lot of tough conversations when guys are disappointed. The ultimate goal is to get to the big leagues. And you don't make it, or you get sent down. And you have to be, well, first of all, you've got to be somebody who understands that they have disappointment. Guy can't walk in being sent down and you be like, suck it up, buttercup, let's go. You've got to be understanding of what these players and what these human beings and the emotions that they're going through, right? So you got to get them back on track. And there are a lot of tough conversations because there's going to be times, we've seen it, where guys are getting sent down and they're pissed. They don't think they should be sent down, right? Not everybody views failure the same way. Some guys go, yeah, I'm not playing well, I deserve to be sent down. Some guys are like, I can't believe I'm being sent down. But whatever you're getting down there, as Fran said, you've got to help them get back on track. You have to develop some type of plan to get them back, to get them in the right mindset to get to the big leagues. So that's not easy. And a lot of guys, let's face it, when you get to AAA, this is you're kind of on your last legs for some players. Some guys are just sitting in AAA as insurance policies, and they know it. And that's something you accept when you sign the contract. And, someone like a David Forrest is going to be honest, going, hey, listen, that spot or spots is filled on our roster, but if people go down, you're in AAA and we'll give you a shot. So that's not easy. And thinking about guys that he has just had, and we'll talk to him, someone like Brett Harris or Jordan Diaz, guys that you're going to have to get back on track. Fran, are you there?
I'm here.
All right.
You got me?
We got you. So no, we heard a lot of talking about the how you can have some tough conversations and a lot of man-to-man, but the good thing is you have that reputation, you have those relationships with the players. And I think of a couple guys, just thinking about Jordan Diaz and Brett Harris. Brett Harris is going to be playing third base tonight there in Las Vegas. Two guys that had springs so far that they're not the springs they wanted to have. Good chance they'll be with you with the Aviators this year. When you say these are guys that are examples that you're going to need to build them back up with that type of plan to get them going again once the Aviators start?
Well, I don't know where these guys are going to end up. There's still 3 weeks left in spring, but hypothetically, those are the types of players, whether it's Jordan or Brett or whoever it may be, that maybe they had, goals, aspirations of making the big league team, like I'm sure everybody does, but it doesn't happen for everybody. There's only 26 spots on the major league roster, and there's only 26 players. So the guys that come back down, you just have to be aware of where they are emotionally, mentally, motivationally, and just make sure that you're getting them back on track, because guess what? You're still in a production-based business. You're in AAA, and if you don't produce in AAA, well, you're not going to get that opportunity at the major league level. So what can I do as a manager to try to get these guys back on track, to try to get them going again, to try to, stop the, hey, I for whatever reason didn't make the big league team, so I'm going to sulk here for a week or two, and I'm going to not get a hit, or I'm going to give up a bunch of runs. No, you got to keep that edge. You got to keep that focus, and that's my job to get them to maintain that focus, no matter what the situation is, because this game is hard. It's a business. It's a very difficult game to play at the highest level, and only the elite get that opportunity. So they need to get back to the point where they can perform at an elite level to get to the highest level.
So you've been around all these guys during spring training. How much did you look around and you notice athleticism, size, speed, power, just a lot of really good athletes in camp this year, whether they're going to be on the 26 or down with you in Las Vegas, or even filter down to AA, A-ball? Just talk about the athleticism that's in the organization.
Yeah, I mean, it stands out. The physicality of the group that's in this spring training, the athleticism, the ability to do a lot of different things on the field that complement each other as a group. I think it's exciting. Maybe there may not be a lot of household names in that group, but there are a lot of guys who are really good baseball players. And if they can, come together during this spring training and have that common goal of going out and competing every night and complementing each other with their skill sets. You look at the arms we have in camp. We have much better arms in camp than I've seen in a few years, and it really is exciting. And I think it's going to play out in a really positive way for the A's and throughout the whole system.
Yeah, the one guy that I talk a lot about, and I'm expecting big things, is JJ Bleday. And when the trade was made for AJ Puck, I'm like, you're getting a primetime guy. You're getting this athlete that was taken 4th overall in the draft. And a lot of people thought, how things work out, he could go number 1, 2. I mean, he was at the top of everybody's draft board. What have you seen in camp with JJ Bleday that you've seen changes?
Well, I think his approach at the plate is better. I think he's consistently in a better position to get off his ace swing. He's hitting the ball the other way much better than I've seen in the past, and he's committed to staying consistent, trusting that he does have a really good swing, and committing to a really, really disciplined approach, and not just trying to pull everything, but taking what the pitcher is giving him in any situation. And when he does get into a count where he can really look for something to drive, making sure he's in a really good position to get his best swing off. And I think, the results speak volumes. He had another 3 hits today. He's hitting over 400 in camp so far. And I think he's just scratching the surface of what he's going to be as a major league player. But it's great to see it kind of come together in the first few weeks of spring.
Yeah, there's some exciting, like you got Geloff and Noda with more hits today. I mean, there's a story to be told. And that's the great thing about having you there the entire camp is you've been seeing this. I mean, there's so much noise away from the team, but once you're inside the building, you're inside the clubhouse, and you're with these guys, there's some good stories going on in camp that give you a lot of optimism.
There really is, and it's across the board with our young players coming up, with the free agent signings, with some of the trades that we've made in the last couple of years, starting to turn the corner as far as their development and production. And, a lot of these guys are going to be into their second major league season. So they have the first year under their belt. And whether it was a great year, an average year, a below average year, a poor year, you see the development, you see the confidence level go up, you see the adjustments happening quicker. And that's what this game is all about, and making those adjustments to make you a consistent, productive player. And you're right, it has been fun to watch that, not just the spring training, but over the course of the last couple of years. And I think we're going in a really good direction.
All right, Cody's worried about your Buffalo Bills. They've been making a lot of moves lately. What is going on? Are we circling the wagons in Buffalo?
Hey, they're going into the offseason in cap jail.
and they had to make some really tough decisions with guys like Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer, and guys that have been staples in the defensive backfield for a lot of years. But it's just like baseball; it's a business, and sometimes you have to make decisions with your head, not your heart, especially when you're talking about salary cap issues. As long as they do a good job of replacing and getting under the cap, I hope spring's eternal, right? Maybe next year.
Hey, as long as you got the quarterback. I mean, Cody, though, what was your question? Okay, because Scott Norwood, God bless him.
Right.
We've been doing this. We bring everybody on, Fran, from our broadcasters and whoever we're playing. We play Know Your Reds, Know Your Diamondbacks. Today we're going to play with Vince Cotroneo, Know Your Brewers. So we're bringing you on Know Your Bills. What was your Bills question?
Fran, who was the kicker after Norwood? I can't remember for the life of me. Cannot remember his name.
Steve Christie?
That's it. There it is.
That is a Bills fan right there. That is legit. That is great Bills knowledge.
Hey, you guys still got Von Miller too. Von reworked his deal, so you got him and Josh Allen still.
I mean, it's great that we still have Josh Allen. It's great that Von reworked his deal. I'd just like to see him get to the quarterback once.
Fran, I know you're busy. You got a lot going on. Thank you for stopping by. We're going to be following you guys every single game. We'll check in throughout the year, and welcome back home in Vegas.
All right, guys. Always a pleasure. Have a good one.
The great Fran Riordan, the leader of men. You got through that? You okay, Cody?
Yeah, it was just, as you know, with when we're doing things, we had to re-sign into the work Okta is what we call it. So I had to log into that and then get the phone system up and going. But that's the power of being able to do this from my computer. Oh, not only that, the trackpad's not working, so I had to bring out the old wired mouse that I carry around with me everywhere.
Where is Vince? Vince, I mean, it's like we're back in 1998. You can't see what's going on here.
What's happening?
How are you?
I'm good. A little chilly tonight in Las Vegas, but a clear night. Should have a good crowd. Should be fun.
Are you going to bet red or black?
I'm not much of a roulette guy, actually. I'm a blackjack slots kind of a guy.
All right. Do you have, like, everybody's got their own kind of little game plan when they play blackjack? Do you have your own little system?
Yeah, try to win. Try to get the. I guess one of the conversations is: are you always going to hit on 12? Are you always going to hit on 13 if the dealer has a 12 or a 13? And so I stay pretty consistent with hitting on 12 against a 2 and a 3 and holding on a 3 against the 3. That's my one strategy. And because it hasn't worked out as well as I would like it to, I'm still at work tonight.
Well, I'll tell you what, my late father used to always say, there's a reason why they built those palaces in the middle of the desert where there's no water, because they don't lose. So just go and have a little fun. If you lose a bit, you lose a little bit. I was talking about it. I can't help it. I'm giddy. I love the trade when it happened. I'm hoping this the year. I'm a big J.J. Bleday guy. I think primetime talent. I think he's got it all, and we're starting to see it. He's hitting again today. I know you're in Vegas. That was down in Arizona, but you've been watching these games. And to me, if J.J. Bleday becomes a player people think he could be, and you add Zach Geloff to that, A's are going into 2024 with two guys that are primetime players.
Well, JJ had 3 hits today. It's a great competition between him and I think Lawrence Butler for the left-handed hitting potential center fielder for the club. I mean, this is the 4th overall pick in a year that Adley Rutschman was number 1. So out of Vanderbilt, he certainly was well thought of, and maybe it just took a little bit longer for it to kick in. I know last year with JJ, and he'll admit to this as well, he spent a lot of time just kind of fiddling. What was going to work for him in the batter's box, whether it was stance or leg kick or toe tap, whatever the case was. I think he just never really got himself until late into a position where he's comfortable. Then he got hurt, and he played the final weekend just to prove that he was going to be healthy for the offseason. So he's got some skills, no question. I think he's an accomplished outfielder. He's very smooth in center field. I like the routes that he takes. To me, reminds me of the manager, Mark Kotsay, and the way that he attack the plays defensively in center field. So I think there's some great competition with him. I think there's some good competition at third base right now with Abraham Toro and Darryl Hernandez, and we've got competition on the pitching staff as well. So it's a much different kind of a feel of a camp in 2024 as opposed to last year trying to find your way and figure out who could even, get to the big leagues and potentially keep their head above water. Record, I think, reflected that in the way that the A's played for at least the first half, 2/3 of the season. This is a much different vibe. You were down here. It's a much different feeling about, now I'm not saying they're going from 50 wins all the way to, a winning record, but I think they feel like the pendulum is beginning to turn, and they've got a group of guys that are in lockstep on what they need to do on a day-by-day basis.
All right. If I was to give you Ruiz, Law, JJ in the outfield, and I know JJ actually said his favorite is right field, so we'll give Law center, and Rooker is your DH opening day. Would you take that?
What are you going to do with Miguel Andujar?
He's not a part of the process. I said, would you take that?
Well, I wanted Miguel Andujar to be part of the process. I mean, this guy's...
Where are you going to play him?
Well, as you've seen, they've played him at first, left, and right. So they're doing that because they like the bat. They think the bat will play again. Not saying it's going to be the 2018.
2018 is a long time ago.
But let me tell you this. Talking with one of our favorite people, I know he's one of your favorite people as well. He's here in Las Vegas, Billy Owens, about Andujar specifically today. And he said, back then he was athletic, didn't really have an approach at the plate, and certainly didn't have a place to play defensively. He was below average at third base for the Yankees. Got hurt, shoulder and wrist. Since then, he has grown, in his opinion, in his approach at the plate, and combined that with health. He is banking on Miguel Andujar to have a breakout year for this club. And right now, his spring has been one of the big stories, I think, offensively. And I know you want to talk about, defensively, that's a very good outfield with the three you mentioned. They can cover a lot of ground. But I think Miguel Andujar's got to find his way into the lineup on a somewhat consistent basis if he can do the things that we're seeing happening down in spring training.
Great problem to have. Talent, right?
Sure.
Which the A's didn't have last year. Why defense matters is because I think we talked about this yesterday, or you and I were talking about it when I was down there. This is not a strikeout staff. You've got to put a defense behind them.
Right. And because of that defense has got to improve. That was one of the differences between the A's, who won 50 games, and the Diamondbacks, who won 84. Now, it's not the only reason, but one of the main reasons was they were the number one defense, one of the top defenses in the National League, catching a lot of balls that were put in play against the Diamondbacks staff and put in play at a very high hard hit rate. And that was 29th in the league, and the A's were 30th. And the A's were last in defense, and the D-backs were not. So if the ball's going to be put in play, you got to find a way to make those plays, why I think while we're talking about the outfield, and there are things you discussed that make a lot of sense, I think third base is going to be a vital decision for the Athletics on how that comes together, because it will then affect positioning on the left side of the infield with Nick Allen, and how they could find a way almost pitch by pitch to make plays, because they feel like this year is not only is the hard hit rate something, but being able to have a pitching staff that can consistently deliver the pitch where they want to, have better command. Those things have got to go hand in hand. If the A's feel like that has been elevated this year as opposed to last year, then they're going to be making sure that they are positioning their defenders to make those plays behind them.
Well, it was an ugly scene in Nashville, I can tell you, at the winter meetings when Cody and David Forst, and Cody was trying to tell David Forst who to take in the Rule 5 pick. It got ugly, but luckily we worked things out. Mitch Spence was selected. Going again tonight, and I talked to him after one of his outings. I was down there with John Shea and Martin Gallegos, and they asked all their beat writer questions. And then I just started talking about, being a Rule 5. What is it like? It's a whole different world. You're snatched out of an organization. Now you got new teammates, new people to impress and all that. And he said it was music to my ears. I want to make it tough on the front office. I want to make them have a tough decision. And so far, he's done that in spring. This is a big outing for him tonight.
Well, it's an excellent point, Towny. And you look at the two pitchers that are starting these two games in Las Vegas. It's Mitch Spence tonight. It's J.P. Sears tomorrow. Two completely different spring trainings. Mitch Spence is pitching even now to make the club.
Yep.
He's got to get people out. I know he's a touch and feel guy, and that's important. You got to get people out. J.P. Sears, however, 32 starts last year, has a much longer rope and has the ability to still work on things. And he is probably at least another start away from having to kind of really ramp it up and worry about consistently getting outs. They know what JP can do, and they feel like with a year of experience that he had a year ago, they know things are going to continue to improve, and we're seeing that with the addition of the sinker, which has kind of helped him in some other areas of his pitching game. Mitch Spence does not have that luxury. Yeah, he's a Rule 5 guy, and you want to keep him, and there are 29 other teams, and Mark Kotsay continues to say that when Spence's name is brought up in conversation. He's not just pitching for the A's, he's pitching for other clubs as well, but he has to pitch again tonight with urgency like he's trying to make the club. He's not pitching with, let me show you the things that I can do. Let me show you my curveball. Let me show you things that I wouldn't necessarily do in terms of game planning from one batter to the next. He's pitching to win games and pitching to get outs right now.
All righty, it's that time. Look at that, Vince. Look at that. Know your Brewers. You like that?
That's good.
It's a new addition this year that we got. Of course, the Brewers mean something to you because your son has a great job with the Milwaukee Brewers.
Yeah, Dominick's there. He was actually at the Brewers A's game in Maryvale today and caught up with Bobby Crosby and some other folks. But, yeah, he does pre and post on radio, does TV research for them and for TBS. So he certainly knows the Brewers better than I do. And you may recall when we were in Milwaukee last year, I was on one of his pregame shows, and the quiz was not know your Brewers. It was, do you know your son? And so he was asking me questions about about himself that I should have known the answers to, about favorite movie or favorite snack or things of that nature. And I was probably about 70% correct. So if I can get that in this Know Your Brewers segment, I would be very happy.
Your answer should have been, I paid for you. That's all you need to know. I paid.
What do you mean paid? It's just so you know, it's paying. It's nonstop. Any parent will tell you that never ends, no matter if they're married, have kids, have their own families.
Yeah.
Will always be paying.
What's your favorite movie? I don't know. You still want that check? All right, time for Know Your Brewers.
Vince, my dad has no shot. He would get maybe 40% of the things if I asked him. So, all right, first question. What is the name of the franchise that moved from Seattle to Milwaukee to become the Brewers?
The Seattle Pilots.
Bing, bing, bing. I think Vince is going to dominate this.
1969.
He got the year too.
He's going to rub it in your face, Commander.
He's already doing better.
This isn't Johnny.
Yeah, he's doing way better than Johnny already.
Yes.
I am a Hall of Famer who was an All-Star Game MVP and a Manager of the Year.
All-Star Game MVP, Manager of the Year. Paul Molitor?
Oh, wow. Yes. Paul Molitor is correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. This is one I got Jeff Levering on, and I got one, and I got Towny on. Aside from Corbin Burns, who was the last Brewer to win the Cy Young Award?
That would be Raleigh Fingers.
Incorrect.
Everyone
said
we
Raleigh
all went
too.
Raleigh.
It's Pete Vukovich who did it the year after Raleigh, 1982.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a tough
Raleigh's here, by the way. He's he lives in Vegas, and he's been here today around the batting cage. It's been fun to see Raleigh.
So a follow-up question. I am the first ever winner of the MVP award as a Milwaukee Brewer.
First ever? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Was that Raleigh?
That is Raleigh. So
in
there
the
you go.
82 season?
Yeah.
Ding, 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 ding.
Sorry, so you're 3 for 4. All right. I am the all-time leader in home runs for the Brewers.
He might have had an issue with some testing.
Oh, Ryan Braun.
Right. Yes. Can you guess what the number of home runs is? This doesn't count, but see if you can guess.
I would say somewhere in the 345 range.
Wow, close. 352.
Okay, you want unfair? He then asked, because he always asks me these questions, because he had the problem with the sample and how it was handled.
Right.
He asked me the delivery company. I'm like, FedEx? I don't know. UPS? I don't know.
I believe the answer was FedEx. So,
Yeah.
All right. I have the most saves in Brewers history.
You see him on TV. MLB Network.
Oh, the Sack Man. Dan Plesac.
Disco Dan is correct.
Disco Dan.
My very good friend, Dan Plesac.
133
By the way,
saves.
is he as nice as he seems?
He's better. We were together in 1985 in El Paso. He was pitching for us then, Double-A with the Brewers. I'll tell you, we went into a postseason against the Jackson Mets, and our El Paso team was 50-18 at home that year. We were supposed to roll and win the Texas League. We lose the first two games of the Texas League Championship Series. Terry Bevington was our manager, and I had Terry on all the time. I said, Terry, I need to have you on, the pregame show. Down 2 games done. He goes, not going to do it. Who did it? Dan Plesac. He was media savvy back in 1985, and all the years I saw him with all the different clubs. He just loved, as we all know, loved to talk the game and loved to talk strategy. He's truly one of my favorite people.
And I think the young crowd doesn't realize he's a big man that threw really hard for left-handed.
Yeah, pretty good slider, too. Pretty good slider.
Hader's second, so another big lefty that throws hard at 125. Plesac 133.
Disco Dan's number 1, baby.
I hit the most home runs in a single season for the Milwaukee Brewers.
Okay, I'm going to go with, it's one of 2 people. Is it Gorman Thomas?
No.
Rob Deere?
No.
Well, then I won't know.
Modern heavy.
Oh, Prince Fielder.
Correct. 50 home runs.
Yeah.
Okay. This is one that Chris had me add, and it's a good one. I am the only player to win an MVP at shortstop and center field.
That's Robin Yount.
There you go. All right.
By the way, to that point, we'll talk about this tonight. Jackson Churio was leading off and playing center field. He's 19 years of age. He's the number 2 prospect, according to MLB.com, behind Jackson Holliday of Baltimore. If he makes this club on opening day, and I'll believe that he would, he will then become the youngest player in Brewers history on opening day by a few days, surpassing Robin Yount.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that, when you look back on it, because I went to watch George Brett get inducted to the Hall of Fame. It just so happened Nolan Ryan and Robin Yount were with him, and Orlando Cepeda. And you sit there and go, man, this guy won the MVP at shortstop and center. We talk about premium defense is always up the middle.
Right.
He won it at shortstop and center field is amazing.
That's why when people, to me, and I'm close to him, but when people complain at times that Craig Biggio was a compiler, with him getting to 3,000 hits and staying around long enough to reach that milestone, you forget that he played behind the plate. You forget that he played center field. And then you finally remember that he finished his career as a second baseman. That is, it's certainly not impossible to do, but it is pretty doggone tough.
Yeah, I love when everybody talks about those compilers. I say, yeah, they compiled a lot of money in that bank account, too, playing that long.
Sure.
All right, Vince, this is a Vince Cotroneo special because I think you might know this one. I have 2 career postseason home runs. One as a member of the A's, one as a member of the Brewers. Who am I?
I was out on this one.
Postseason home runs, member of the A's and member of the Brewers.
He's there tonight.
He is?
Yes.
He's here with us in Vegas tonight.
Yes.
Correct.
And if you had a pregame show, you would have talked to him.
Jason Giambi.
The answer would be the great Mark Kotze.
Oh, Mark Kotze.
You called it home run with the A's.
Yes. I was the one that called the one in 2006.
Yeah.
I was like, what? I went with Dave Parker, but I was like, yeah.
He hit one.
All right, one more because he's got to go.
Okay. How many times has Bob Uecker appeared on the Johnny Carson show?
Ooh, a lot.
A lot.
My guess would be total guess, but not that far off. I'm going to say 31 times.
The research from when I looked, it says he's done it over 100 times.
Wow. Yeah, good for him.
Yeah, because
Duke's been around. He hasn't done any games in spring training, but he's popped into a couple of Brewers games this year. 90 years young. 90.
He just didn't appear on Carson. He guest hosted Carson.
Yeah, I mean, he was a star on that show. And for those that have never listened to his Hall of Fame induction speech, if you want 15 minutes of pure laughter, go to YouTube and watch Bob Uecker from Cooperstown.
One more real quick. What is the name of the Brewers' home ballpark?
American Family Field.
See, right on the money.
I had no clue. I was like Miller Park, but I know it's not that. Is it some loan company?
It's the same. It's the same name as their spring training ballpark.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. It's a package deal.
Vince, you hit a home run compared to Johnny. He would
very good.
He probably would have hit 3 of these.
Know your Brewers. You were fantastic. You have a great call. Enjoy Vegas.
By the way, to that point, Russ Langer, the voice of the Las Vegas Aviators, will be alongside for tonight and for tomorrow.
Nice. I love it.
Yep, it'll be fun.
Great. Have a good call.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
See you, Vince.
Vince, very solid. Very solid.
I'm impressed. I mean, Johnny had no shot with some of those questions.
Oh, wow. You're throwing
Come on.
Johnny's not here and you're throwing him under the bus and know your Brewers?
All right. I was afraid. I was worried he might not get the what theme park is next to Angel Stadium.
Oh, my God. Who do we got Monday?
The Snakes.
Oh, we've already done the Snakes. Have we done the Snakes?
I don't think so.
Know your Snakes?
Not
Who was the bench coach when they won the World Series?
Bob Melvin.
That'd be Robert Melvin. We win all over, like most stolen bases. Tony Womack. We went all over. I mean, I aced the Know Your Diamondbacks.
I think that was just you and I talking. I don't think we did it with Johnny.
We didn't do it with Johnny. Like, oh yeah, I aced.
Hold on,
I aced the Diamondbacks.
Let me pull up the spring training schedule. We played the Diamondbacks. I mean, we played them on that Monday. Yeah, maybe we did do it.
Yeah, I aced it. Know Your Diamondbacks was easy. I mean, they're so young.
Do we even?
You don't have to go back and worry. Like some of these organizations, you're like, man, this guy could have done it in 1920, 1940. You don't have that with some of these organizations.
I don't remember what we did with Johnny though, because I did reach out to Luis Gonzalez and I asked for Torey Lovello because I'm like, it's easier to get Torey now than the regular season maybe because we're playing in Arizona this year, not in Oakland like he was last year.
Is it rain? Giants are delayed against who they playing? They're playing the Padres. Is it raining again in Arizona?
Well, yeah, it's raining in Arizona. But it's good to go in Vegas.
Cold in Vegas.
That's what Vince was saying. Yeah. One thing we didn't get to. I don't know how.
By the way, Mitch Spence is doing exactly what he said. I want to make it tough on the front office. They like Mitch Spence. Select him in the Rule 5.
Well, clearly, David didn't listen to the guys I suggested.
And he's done nothing but disappoint with a 1.80 ERA.
Yeah, he's been.
And if he throws well, you got to offer him back to the Bombers. And if he threw this well, why? If you're in New York, why wouldn't you take him back? Because you could put him right back to AAA.
Who's not pitching well for the Yankees right now? Carlos Rodon.
Well, that doesn't matter because he's got a big contract.
Yeah, well. I mean, he's not earning it.
Unless you're going to put him on the IL.
I'm panicking at spring training if I'm a Yankee fan already.
Well, and then, this whole let's fake injuries and put guys on the IL. Billy Epler, former friend of the program, has been banned from baseball. He was doing it with the Mets, and everybody in baseball will tell you everybody was doing it, but they singled out Billy Epler. Former Angels GM. That's when we used to have him on the program. Then he was running the Mets. Billy Epler banned from baseball for I don't know how many years, but he's banned from the game, kind of warning everybody, you want to start stashing guys on the IL that are not really hurt, we're going to come and get you.
What do you get? It was a 2-year ban, right?
I can't remember.
I think it was 2 years he got banned or whatever, yeah. Not like the Braves guy who was banned for life, and now he's able to come back into baseball.
It's not fair, but the reality is it's not how the world works. Is it always fair? Is everything always fair?
No.
There's always somebody that's got to fall on the sword. You got to make an example of somebody. Is it fair? No. But this was their time to get a guy that was not going to keep his job anyway. This was so easy to do. You knew the Mets were getting rid of him. It was so easy to say he's got his contract with. I mean, the Mets still had money on his contract, right? So he's still getting paid. Yeah. You're now banned for 2 years. Go away, and you'll come back. But they had to make an example of somebody, and they did it. So Mitch Spence, do exactly what you need to do, and that make it tough. Make it tough. Like, and now for Mitch Spence, Luis Medina going down may helps him because maybe Mitch Spence goes to the bullpen as a long guy because you don't want to lose him.
Yeah, it's a fair point. Because, the Medina and the knee strain, and Kotze saying
he's got to be here for the year.
Yeah, and Medina probably won't be ready for opening.
I mean, you're off him back, and maybe they don't want him back, and then that changes everything.
There's one thing we're not going to get into it right now, but it's something we can get into more on Monday. Dodgers, they over Gavin Lux as a shortstop, huh?
Dodgers, yes. Dodgers are such an interesting team. They are I'm the most interesting man. Thank you, Takati. Or is that Dos Equis?
Dos Equis.
I'm the most interesting man. They're the most interesting team. Let's face it. Now Mookie Betts is their permanent shortstop. What does that mean? Nothing. But that's what they're saying now. He's the permanent shortstop. How about that?
Yeah, and I saw Sarah tweet out. Sarah Lang's our good friend. Tweet out if he plays a lot of games at first base or shortstop, he'll be, I think, the first player to have 100 career games at multiple positions. I know it's a very small. That's actually pretty remarkable if you think about it.
Totally. What an athlete, right? You're a right fielder. No, you're a second baseman. No, you're a shortstop. You're a great player.
MVP, Gold Glove.
But they're interesting as hell, right? And at some pack, Walker Buehler coming back from another Tommy John. What's he bring? And then we'll hit sometime summer, and here comes Clayton Kershaw. And they're an interesting – I hate them, but they're interesting as hell. You got Ohtani, Yamamoto. I mean, they are an interesting team, and they still have more coming up from the pipeline.
And don't forget to sell Freddie Freeman.
No, yeah, Freddie Freeman. Max Muncy.
Max Muncy, 1.0.
Will Smith. I mean, they're
your guy, James Outman.
They're the kid from was St. Francis?
Yeah, I believe it was, yeah.
From Redwood City.
I know he's from Redwood City.
Went to Sac State.
Oh, what is it? Stingers Up is whatever their thing is?
Yeah, the Hornets. So, I mean, the Dodgers are just flat out interesting. I don't like the Dodgers, but Mookie Betts now a permanent shortstop. You know what? I'll tune in to watch to see if that works.
Yeah, they'll be.
I'll tune in to watch Ohtani hit as a Dodger. You can't tell me there's the Dodgers and there's 29 other teams when it comes to entertainment. Is there anybody even close to as entertaining? Well, if JJ Bleday's hitting and Geloff's hitting, I'm in. But I'm serious. 29 other teams. Anybody match the excitement of the Dodgers? We're in the entertainment business.
No.
Does anybody match the entertainment value of the Dodgers? No. I got an idea. I thought about it last night about an entertainment stat. If the Ninja can have swords, I think I can create a new metric that may be the most important in all of baseball. I'll give it to you on Monday. There's a tease. We're in Sin City. It's the Brew Crew. It's the Athletics. The next 2 days right here on A's Cast. Enjoy your weekend, and we'll see everybody on Monday.
Hey, Oakland A's fans, join your team this spring in Mesa. With nonstop flights direct from Oakland, there's never been a better time to head to the Southwest. Surrounded by the stunning Sonoran Desert, spring training fans know why Arizona is the perfect spring break escape. Miles of trails, shoreline, and sunshine combine for an unforgettable Arizona adventure. There's simply no shortage of things to do, see, and discover in Mesa. Get your visitor's guide at visitmesa.com.
Unlock offers and receive exclusive in-game features by downloading the MLB Ballpark app for iPhone and Android today. Plus, get the latest information on game times, schedules, and more.
This has been a presentation of the Oakland Athletics.